All right, so here's the latest. There was just a new filing in the Idaho 4 case, and in this filing, Bryan Kohberger and his defense team list what his actual defense is going to be. And it's interesting because we remember that the knife sheath was found under Maddie Mogen's body, and that's what contained the sample of DNA that was linked to Bryan. Well, apparently, in this new filing, he's not going to deny that that was his DNA. He's going to admit that. They're not even going to try to argue the prosecution on that. But instead, what he's going to say is that the real killer planted that there, even though it is his DNA, all in an effort to frame him. And here's what it says exactly. It says, instead of challenging the conclusion that the DNA on the knife sheath belonged to the defendant, the defense's expert disclosures reveal that the defense plans to argue that the DNA on the knife sheath does not prove that the defendant was ever at the crime scene, and that the knife sheath itself could have been planted by the real perpetrator. And here's what I find very, very interesting here, is they say, it's not clear if the defense plans to actually name an alternative murder suspect at the trial, which who would be trying to frame you and why? Which you can also see here that it says it's unclear who the real killer, what their motive would have been for pinning the crime specifically on Bryan Kohberger, and what potential connection they may have had and how they would have had access to his DNA. A lot of questions, but maybe it's the best defense he can think of. Who would want to frame you that badly? Why you? And my other question is, did the person who framed you also take your car and drive back and forth to the house? Did they also then make a cross-country road trip? Did they also then tell you to put evidence in Ziploc bags and detail your car and clean it and throw away evidence? Did they also have your phone pinging around the house the time of the murder and then conveniently shut off? Did they also act shady when the police busted in your parents' house and you were putting all the stuff in Ziplocs? Was that somebody else framing you? And if so, who? With friends like that, who needs enemies, am I right? What do you think? Is this possible? Do you think that this could be real, or do you think that this defense will actually work? Comment below.